the basic point is that no education system, unless the whole culture revolves about being a real intellectual, not a leftist intellectual like that stupid beauty queen from South Carolina, whatever her name is. And this is the way it was always in Claudius. There was always a core of people who sat and learned. And these people disseminated and distributed the Torah for the common folk. And the common folk, when they came home dead tired, because work a couple of years ago meant work, all right? Until about 100 years ago, when you came home after the 14, 16 hour day, work day, they didn't just collapse on a couch and drink a beer and smoke a cigar and watch the Seinfeld on the television. I couldn't believe it. I saw the obituary of someone who was nifter here in the neighborhood. It was a doctor. And in his obituary, he was so great, he could watch an episode of Seinfeld with his grandchildren. What stupidity is this? Where does this come from? I don't understand this. So keep in mind that when you attack the Kohanim and you make believe that they are most primitive people, you have to understand that this is the highest level of intellectualism. I understand that this may not confirm exactly to what we understand as being an intellectual in our day. They may not know exactly what is happening on Mars and exactly every word of Nietzsche and Heidegger and Plato. I understand, but these people's lives revolve around more even than just intellectuality, because there's nothing else that can sharpen your skill, your intellectual skills, than the Gemara, and also bring you to become a better human being. So even though they leave out some of the Western culture, the fact of the matter that the only culture on earth that evolves solely and totally about being about education is our culture. So keep in mind that when you attack Avrechim, this is what you really attack. And when you attack Avrechim, you're leading us towards Britney Spears and Miss South Carolina. Now, there was a different topic I wanted to talk about, and this is the topic of global warming. Not exactly global warming, but the way people relate to global warming. See how the RCA some time ago issued a declaration, psak, whatever it is. On one hand, they reject Das Teire, but they don't completely reject it, whatever. Okay, so they want to issue it despite the fact that more and more scientists are starting to speak up against it. Okay, I don't have a problem with it. Let them go ahead. Good. But at least have the decency, because you are the people who believe in synthesizing theory and science somehow. I'm not saying they're contradictory, and I'm saying not compatible, but I don't think they should be synthesized. The fact of the matter is that whatever way you look at it, okay, you spoke out for global warming, you told us to sell our town cars and get a hybrid and a Corolla. Okay, I'm not going to do this tomorrow because it's dangerous and I don't like a Corolla. And anyway, you also released a declaration about Ahmadinejad, that he endangers the welfare of the Middle East and of course Claudius and the Western world. Fine, 100% and thumbs up for this. I honestly applaud and agree with this declaration. But what have you done about it? That's it, a declaration, and then it ends? What about bringing this issue to the fore? I mean, this is a real danger. This guy Ahmadinejad means business. What about talking about it in shuls? What about doing things, gatherings, davenings? Why not insert a prayer in davening? I mean, you guys have no problem with interfaith dialogue with Catholics and Hindus and Buddhists and Protestants, whatnot. Only with Haredim you can have interfaith dialogue. I mean, that's a little bit extreme in my view. Why can't there be a global, all-inclusive rabbinical committee or something to issue a psak or at least guidelines for coming together to daven, to insert a certain davening, to pray, to do things to prevent us from being able to do a lot of political activism, as Avi Weiss did, unfortunately only once. He made it. I was extremely proud when he did this. When he went to the civil he organized the civil disobedience in front of the UN. That guy is a great guy, I want to say, but he should be more persistent, because this issue has to be brought to the fore of the general public and of observant Jews together. And one more point. Some time ago, that we know that this fellow Feldman was very successful in in working up all of the modern Orthodox word with whatever he said, this stupid article in the New York Times, and they, instead of ignoring him, they got all worked up, and there are thousands and thousands of articles written all over the blogs and the literature and their media. My goodness, I mean, how can you take the idiot seriously? But he raised the issue of saving the life of a non-Jew on Shabbos. Now I understand you went into all the halachic aspects of this, and it's not just Mishnah, it's because this and that. There are now Marines who fight a war in Iraq, a war with which I do not agree, an unjust war, a war that is there for no bid contract and to make politicians, Republicans and Democrats. Dianne Feinstein made more than $1 billion on this war, and that's why you don't hear the Democrats speaking out against the war anymore. They're dying every day. There are some Marines who allegedly committed war crimes. One after the other, the charges are being dropped because there is not only this lack of evidence, but there is evidence to the contrary. John Murtha, Marine and former Marine himself, still refuses to apologize to this day and to take back his comments that these Marines are murderers in cold blood. He has compared them to Nazis, him and Joe Biden. They both refuse to apologize to this day. Where is the RCA? Where is the RCA when there is a man, a father of 6 children who are homeschooled, who is now in prison? For what? Because he did nothing. You understand? He did nothing. There is no evidence against him. The only evidence against him is the word of the enemy and a stupid leftist journalist who wants to put down our Marines. What about saving his life? It's not Shabbos. What about a declaration of him? What about davening for him? What about declarations? What about articles about how unjust this is? So at least I would say put your money where your mouth is. I would like to say, if you really believe so much in political activism and being involved in what surrounds you and saving the life of a non-Jew, I would like to see these people to stand up. You know that these people were initially there was a suggestion to implement the death penalty for these people. So I think that a little bit of honesty would not hurt anybody, and a little bit of introspection instead of just criticizing others, and a little bit of unity. And by the way, this criticism is valid not only for the RCA but for any rabbinical body, be it Beis Haroeh here in Monsey and everybody else. The reason I'm picking on them is because they are the big believers in being involved in the larger community. But of course, these problems affect us all. So what I suggest is a little bit more introspection and a more interaction, and not just being closed in himself in his own narrow group. All right.